Welcome, everybody, to Funeral Nation episode 48. I'm Ryan Thogmartin. That is Jeff, the Funeral Commander Harbison. Jeff, you're back in your cave today, so no cigar and no libation, but we've got a great show. We're going to be highlighting a brand new web series, I guess is what you would call it, that's going to be focused on the funeral profession. But what do we got coming up today?
Man, I'm excited. Today's really actually a great show where everybody's going to get excited about NFDA coming up. And this thing kind of popped out of nowhere. So prior to that, we need to let everyone know that we're sponsored by our title sponsor, the Fast Funding Group, which is American Funeral Financial, C&J Financial Funeral Funding Center. I think we're going to have Jamie here next week. We've had him on before.
Yep.
But the bottom line is these guys, CGF.com. Yeah, CJF.com, American Funeral Financial and Funeral Funding Center. You know, why aren't you using them? In fact, I think you're going to have a question, and the more you know, that I'm going to address that earlier. Today's show, we're going to have the guy and interview the creator of Funeral Cribs. That's really cool. I've seen it. It's fantastic. Our spotlight's going to go to South Carolina. Which is actually an international spotlight at this point. And the WTF is just another do-it-yourself in our industry that, what the heck? I mean, it's what the funeral really. Ryan, what's our buzz out there today?
Jeff, there's a couple of things that were the buzz. One, you're gonna touch on our spotlight because it's gone viral and international. The other was we did an article on Connecting Directors on Monday about a Dutch company that created a hearse out of a electric Tesla car.
Wow.
Wow. So I don't know why, and we'll show a picture over here, why all the European hearse companies and German hearse companies and Dutch, I mean, they're the ones checking out the Mercedes. They're the ones doing all the cool things. Like, it's not fair. When do we get a Tesla hearse?
Hey, maybe we can have one. There's a nice mall here with a Tesla store in it, so maybe I'll get to see one on display. If it is, I'll get that picture made with it.
It's cool. And you know what I think it is? You know, we share that kind of content and it gets blasted around. It goes viral inside the profession. But most of the funeral directors in the United States really love the old style traditional hearse. They don't like the new sexy body style with the sleek lines, and I don't get it. It's fancy.
I don't either. Well, to each his own.
I guess so.
Lots of stuff out here.
So that was the buzz, and who's the buzz brought to us by?
It's brought to us by Funeral DNA ID, a simple collection of DNA. You don't have to leave the funeral home. You don't have to send a sample out of the country. You give it right to the family. Funeral DNA ID. We'll see them as well at NFDA. Right. Roll the promo, Ryan.
You can't predict the future, however, you can protect your business and the families you're serving. Funeral DNA ID kits that collect and preserve DNA during the cremation and burial process. Swab, spot, seal, legacy preserve. For more information, please visit funeraldnaid.com.
All right, Jeff, we're back to our More You Know minutes, and I've got the question for you this week, and it comes from John in Illinois. John asks, I'm really having an accounts receivable problem. Any ideas?
Yeah, John. If you're the owner, it's your responsibility, and actually that sits on your shoulders. A few things you're going to need. Leadership, the ability to put your foot down and say, we're going to stop the bleeding. Number two, you have to do training. You can change behaviors with training. Number three, you have to make some decisions to change your payment policy and get your people to adhere it. The bottom line, and we'll go back to Jamie and his crowd at the Fast Funding Group, you need to let those policies be taken care of by somebody else. You've got to have an assignment company. Anyway, if you want some more information, reach out to me, Jeff, f4sight.com.
Excellent. Great info there, Jeff. All right, brother, what is our who are we going to interview?
Man, I'm excited. We're going to have Curtis Funk on. He's the founder of Tukios, and he just launched Funeral Cribs. Let's roll that interview. Curtis, good to have you here with us at the Funeral Nation show.
Hey, it's awesome to be here. Thanks. for the invite.
Yes, sir. Well, we're really interested. You've got something cool. So how about introduce yourself to many people already know you and a bit about your business.
Yeah, so my name's Curtis Funk, as you said. I'm the founder of Tukios. Tukios is a web-based, like cloud-based tribute video software. The product's about 6 years old now, used by a few thousand funeral homes within the United States, Canada, a little bit in Europe and Australia. And it's all about just, simplicity and speed for the funeral director to be able to make a video in under 10 minutes. And that's what Tukios is and who I am.
That's your day job then.
Yeah.
We all understand hustling, don't we?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Curtis, you just launched Funeral Cribs. Tell us a little bit about that and what your inspiration was.
Yeah, so I was kind of inspired in two ways. One is we were looking for a way to just do some interesting content marketing. And a lot of the other, players in the industry and even our competitors have done a really great job writing content, like doing articles and keeping up on a blog. And with us just being specifically video, and since we only do video, there's only so much you can say about video. So it's like, we're thinking, what can we do that would be different and interesting and provide valuable content to the industry that they want to consume? And being a video company, we thought, well, let's produce video. So then it came up with, what do we produce? So we went through a bunch of different ideas. We're kind of different, goofy guys, so we were looking at a lot of funny stuff. But because of a few behaviors I've recognized, I kind of stumbled into, do a lot of sales calls and visit a lot of funeral homes. And probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, I walked into a funeral home that was like genuinely like more beautiful than some of the other ones I visited. And so I just said, man, this place is gorgeous. Like when I walked into the lobby, and the funeral director was like, whoa, you want a tour? And so next thing I know, like I'm in a prep room for the first time in my life. And like, I'm walking around this funeral home, like I'd never seen a funeral home before, all these back hallways and stuff for getting flowers and caskets from here to there. And I realized like, man, like this guy's really passionate about this. And then the next location I went into, didn't look as nice as that last one, but I was like, I'm going to see if I can get that again, because that gives you like 5-10 minutes of, like time to build a relationship with this funeral director. So I realized like they love to take people on tours of their location. And then something that was even more interesting to me is to find out that when they're traveling, when they're out of town, I'm sure their wives hate this, but they're like, hey, I want to go swing by this cemetery or walk through this funeral home. So they like to go through other locations as well. So just learning those behaviors, I thought, you know what, like if we kind of did a spin on like MTV's Cribs and just call it Funeral Cribs. So like then, like those of us that have seen that show will like make the association pretty quick. We can kind of play off those behaviors, touring the facility. That's where the inspiration for the show came from. I kind of batted it around the end, like some of the other vendors and funeral homes early this spring, just trying to see what the interest level would be and whether or not we should actually do it. And it seemed like the interest level was there. So we filmed that first location just to get our, kind of our feet wet. We did it locally here. We're based in Utah. So we went over to Larkin, about 30 miles from here, and we filmed them for the first episode. So that's where it all started.
Yeah, we just had a little catastrophe there online. And look, you can tell by our crack crew, we have one big-time production company here. Speaking of which, the quality and content of the launch you had with your inaugural show there at Larkin was really well done. Where do you see that Funeral Cribs will go? Obviously, content. I think it's a wonderful thing for our industry. But where do you see it a year from now, 3-5 years down the road?
Well, the plan right now is the schedule we're trying to get ourselves on is to release and produce one episode a month. So we're not going to be overloaded with it. It's really costly, we're shipping drones and big camera gear and stuff and taking a whole production set to each funeral home. So, it's expensive for us. So we're just doing one a month. The plan is to film funeral homes, not just Larkin, like each one of the episodes, we're kind of having like a nickname on them. So like Larkin's like the wedding episode. So if you watched it, they've turned their funeral home into a big wedding business. And so we've got like a car episode coming up and a dog episode and a fancy episode and all these different episodes that we're working on that are that kind of have like a thing that they do. But it doesn't, we're not just going to be hitting the funeral homes that are like huge facilities like Larkin. We'll also be going to we've got some that are like a lot smaller funeral homes, more of average sized funeral home, but they're doing something really different and really unique that lets us tell a cool story, but also then would hopefully, provide some feedback or like some, like advice for best practices to other funeral homes that can see what they're doing that's made them successful.
Excellent.
Well, share with us the motivation of producing and sharing video content.
Yeah, so kind of two parts. Like one, obviously there's a selfish motivation that is like getting some more exposure for Tukios, right? I mean, there's always going to be that at the base, but hopefully, like our goal is that it can make a positive impact on the industry, cast like a positive light on funeral service itself. And I mean, I've heard, I don't know for sure, but I've heard the industry could be heading toward a decline. Obviously, none of us want that. And so if there are some best practices and things that are happening that are one funeral home's doing that's making them successful, if we can have others learn that around in other markets and around the United States and around the world where, we can be ready for those changes, that would be fantastic. That would be like a really worthwhile cause for us. And like a major motivation for us to try to like actually have a positive impact on the industry in that way. Rising
Sure.
tide, lifts all boats. So if we can have, one funeral home over here has figured out how to make weddings part of your product offering, and there's a funeral home on the other side of the United States, maybe has facilities similar to them, and they can implement that as well. That's going to help all of us.
No doubt.
That's part of the motivation too.
That's great. So I saw it the first time, and again, Ryan and anybody, I've passed it along to many people. It's a real big positive for our industry, and I'm going to say thanks, good job. Closing this up here, we're going to provide a link to Funeral Cribs so our effing fans can get there, but where's the best place or somewhere to go find out more so they can see it and support you?
We launched the page at funeralcribs.com. That's where all the episodes will be. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get like YouTube subscribers. Funeral Cribs is going to live on YouTube. The whole, every episode will be there. The whole series will be housed there. So try and, get people to our YouTube page. They go to YouTube and search Funeral Cribs. It's, it's the only thing on there really. So getting people to that. Facebook, Twitter. We're not going like every single social network just because we haven't got the time to focus on it. But yeah, so between YouTube, but funeralcribs.com will drive them there for sure.
All right, good.
Fantastic.
Hey, so we're going to see you in a few weeks, I assume, in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Well, good. Looking forward to it. We appreciate, again, I saw it yesterday. Boom, we got to have you up today. So thank you. Now we see the I guess a wizard behind the curtain back there making all this happen.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate being on here. And like, if I could throw out any call to action there, it would be if you know of a funeral home that you think would make a great episode, please pass that information along to us so we can get that on our list and contact them. So
no kidding. That's great. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, thank you
See
guys.
you, Curtis.
All right, see you, buddy.
Right. This interview segment was brought to us by Sitch Casket Company. We're going to see Sitch at NFDA as well, and I hear that they are going to be in the business of wowing people at the NFDA show. So we'll look forward to seeing them there. Let's roll that promo.
Funeral Nation is sponsored by Sitch Casket, importers of premium hardwood and fine metal caskets created exclusively for the North American marketplace. Is it a Sitch casket or one of the top U.S. brands? Only your accountant can tell the difference. Visit Sitch Casket or contact your Sitch distributor.
All right, Jeff, this spotlight segment is phenomenal, and why don't you take us into it?
As everyone knows that watches our show, we like to have the spotlight on funeral directors and professionals that make a difference in their communities and really do something great for our industry. This week, we shine the spotlight on the staff at Sullivan and King Mortuary and Crematory located in Anderson, South Carolina. Sadly, we all know for the most part about the story of Jacob Hall, a 6-year-old boy who died after a teenage gunman opened fire at South Carolina Elementary School a few weeks ago. Last week, Jacob was honored and had his funeral where the theme was being a superhero. At the Hall's family request, mourners wore superhero costumes to celebrate Jacob. He was being laid to rest as Batman. The funeral was filled with kids and adults alike in costumes to honor Jacob's life. To me, what a wonderful display of how a funeral can reflect the life of the deceased. And I also, it occurred to me that the staff now had all these children, and all these children saw Jacob, and this funeral was nothing like the quote traditional funerals. Yeah. So anyway, our hats off to Sullivan and King, all your staff. Number one, for what you did, and thank you for putting a positive spotlight and showing the world how a funeral could literally go to celebrate the life of the person who lived.
Yep, very good. Great spotlight segment. All right, our spotlight segment wraps up. Then we move into the WTF segment. And that's where now we take a lighthearted look at something in the funeral profession. We either make fun of ourselves or someone else. And in this case, it's another case of the do-it-yourself transportation, I don't know, Walmart casket buy or run. I don't know.
I know. It's just fascinating to me what compels a person to want to buy a casket so bad that they'll strap it to the roof of the car, right? And of course, it tells me a lot about the car because they're obviously a bumper sticker activist where they don't want to say anything to you, but if you read my bumper sticker, that's what I believe. Okay, so anyway, it's just this. That's pretty good.
That was fantastic.
So I look at this, and a few things. Number one, is there a body in it? I hope not. But number two, do you not know anybody with a pickup truck? Where the heck are you? I tried to zoom in on the license plate and I couldn't find it.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan Thogmartin, CEO of Disrupt Media, and I want to make sure to invite you to our NFDA booth. We'll be at booth 4103. Come talk to us about social media for your funeral home and learn how to reach thousands of people in your community that you're missing and not engaging with.
All right, brother, that wraps up episode 48. We will be filming our 52nd year one anniversary episode at NFDA, so it should be fantastic, should be huge. But what do we have leading up to NFDA next week?
We're going to have our title sponsor, Big Cheese, Jamie Meredith from the Fast Funding Group, and talk about some cool stuff they're doing at NFDA. We'll always have a spotlight on the funeral director, and WTF, what's a funeral? I'll find something because it's not hard to find out here.
All right, that wraps up 48. Make sure you're engaging with us on social media and pay attention because we will, and it's almost finalized, but we are going to be taking the Funeral Nation show somewhere else in the world on the road. We're pretty psyched about it. So be watching for that announcement. We'll do a video to announce where we're going to be and when, and it'll be on our Facebook page. So make sure you are following us there. If you have any thoughts, comments, leave them below. We don't care if they're nice or if they're mean or if you hate us or you love us. Tell us your thoughts.
Hey, bring it on. Great to see you guys. I'm out here.
All right. Till next time, have a great effing week.